Thank you for visiting my channel, Thinking Like a Virtuous Woman, where I inspire women to think like the woman in Proverbs 31, spiritually, financially, and also relationally. So today I'm going to be talking about something that most people look forward to this time of year. That's right, I am going to be talking about income taxes. Many people are looking forward to this extra money that they get once a year. And so I wanted to just talk about three things or three ways that I think that you should consider using your tax refund. And I always give this disclaimer that I am not a tax professional, a financial expert. I'm simply a person who made a lot of mistakes and I've learned from them, and I just like to help other people not make the same mistakes. So the first way I think that you should consider using your tax refund is using it to start a business. Now, many people have dreams of being an entrepreneur, whether it's being a full-time entrepreneur or maybe just having a side business, but many people don't have the money to pay the fees that come along with starting a business. Maybe you need to form an LLC or maybe get your business incorporated, and you didn't necessarily have that money throughout the year to do those things because you have bills. Maybe you live paycheck to paycheck. And so this time of year may really be the only time that you can actually put money toward that business. Or maybe you need to get something trademarked or copyrighted, and this is the only time of year that you really have a substantial amount of money to do so. I really think that you should consider using that money to invest in a business. And speaking of businesses, I was going to do another video about this, but I'll go ahead and kind of do a preview right now since we're talking about businesses. So I have started another business under Thinking Like a Virtuous Woman. I will be selling t-shirts and other products, and I have literally not really had to use any money to start off. So the most money that I've had to pay so far is buying samples. So because when customers order from my site, the products will be shipped directly to them. I have been ordering samples of those products so that I can just do quality checks, because the worst thing would be for somebody to order from my site. I've never ordered a sample. They get the product and the quality is horrible. That's the worst thing that can happen. So I've been buying samples. So I'll just show you one of the t-shirts that I will be selling soon. This is one here. I hope that you can see it good there. This is straight out of Proverbs 31. This necklace that I have on is actually some of the jewelry that I will be selling. It says far above rubies, Proverbs 31 and 10. And I share this with you to let you know that I didn't really have to pay anything to start out. I started it at the end of 2019, but I'm going to officially launch it this year in 2020. And I just want to encourage you that you don't need a lot of money to start a business. So you want to just do your research and look for businesses that take little to no startup costs. If you do get a refund back this year, you're looking forward to a refund, definitely please consider using that money to invest into your business. If you already have a business, use it to maybe you have to order supplies. Maybe you need to invest in more inventory. Whatever those things are that you're not able to do throughout the year because you don't have that extra money, definitely consider doing that. And you might say, well, I don't want to sell products. I don't want to sell t-shirts. That's not my thing, and that's okay. But just make sure whatever area you do go into that you do your research so that you're working smart. And number two, I think that you should consider paying off debts with your tax refund. Use that money to pay off maybe you have credit card bills, maybe you have hospital bills, whatever those bills are that you have. Maybe you have a car that you want to pay off. Use that tax refund to start chipping away at those debts. I would make a list of all of your debts, smallest to largest. Maybe you can start off paying the smaller ones first, because there's something that sets off something inside of you when you pay off a debt. It's like a feeling of accomplishment, and it just puts some fire under you, and it makes you just want to keep paying and paying and paying. And so maybe you can start off with those debts that you can pay at one time. Maybe you have a $200-300 debt that you can just maybe take some of your tax refund money and just pay that off. And then you can start looking at your other debts and looking at your interest rates, and then start attacking those debts that have higher interest rates. Once you pay those debts off, you're going to have extra money throughout the year anyway, because your money won't be going toward those debts that you were paying on throughout the year. And the number one thing that I think you should consider doing with your tax refund is building an emergency fund. And now, if you watch my other videos, you already know I encourage that a lot. So I mentioned that I paid my car off, and I paid that off in 2018. 2019, I began to have car problems. I had to dip into my emergency fund several times. Just imagine if I didn't have that emergency fund. I would have had to dip into my regular income, money that I did not expect to have to pay. But if you have that emergency fund, you have that cushion of money sitting there, then you can pull from that as opposed to pulling from money that maybe you were going to pay off a debt with, or maybe you want to pay a bill, or maybe even take yourself somewhere. The purpose of an emergency fund is so that you don't have to mess with that money that you already have plans for. Now, most financial experts, they suggest at least starting off with $1,000. Now, if you can't do $1,000, maybe start off with maybe $300 or maybe $500 and build your way up. And as you have to dip into that money, you want to be putting back as you can slowly, even if you can only throw $20 to $30 here and there. If you don't have $1,000 to start off with, maybe start off with $300, maybe $500, and then slowly work your way up. And that way, if you have that emergency fund, then when you do have those car problems or maybe household repairs that you didn't expect, you have that money sitting there so that you don't have to interfere with your regular income. Now, financial experts, they do recommend that once you've paid off your debts, like for an example, Dave Ramsey, he suggests that once you have that emergency fund built up to at least $1,000, pay your debt up, and then you can go back and focus in on saving up enough money to have like 3 months of expenses, or maybe 6 months of expenses saved up. So you notice I put emergency fund actually above paying off debts, because even if you are paying off your debts, if something happens to your car and your household or something, you have some type of emergency, then you have to pull from that money anyway that you were using, that you would have used to pay off a debt. So you want to have that emergency fund first, so that way you don't have to pull from that debt money or your savings or your regular income that you already had plans for. I do believe that these 3 things that I name are 3 very important ways that you should consider using your money. Now, if you are already at a place where you're like, I'm good on debts, I already have my emergency fund, I'm good on business, then by all means do what you want to do with your money. However, if you are in that place that you were trying to figure out, what should I do with my tax refund, I hope and pray that this information that I shared with you today was helpful. As always, feel free to reach out if you have any prayer requests, any questions, any suggestions. My email is thinkinglikeavirtuouswoman@gmail.com. I will leave that down below in the description box. If you like my shirt and you're interested in learning how you can get one, make sure you are following me on Facebook. My page is Thinking Like a Virtuous Woman. I'm also on Instagram, Thinking Like a Virtuous Woman. Not as active on Instagram, but I'm definitely very active on Facebook. Definitely make sure you're following that page. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell so that you can be notified every time I post. Thank you for visiting my channel, Thinking Like a Virtuous Woman, where I inspire women to think like the woman in Proverbs 31, spiritually, financially, and relationally. Be blessed.